But yeah, I had someone like on their Instagram note like right recently, like, you know, I miss Iwata Nintendo. And like I unfortunately just have to agree, you know? I just have to agree, because like, you know, even if the Wii U was like marketed like really poorly, and people unironically thought that like, you know, the Wii U was just like, you know, like genuinely people just thought that the Wii U was just like, you know, an extra tablet for the Wii or something, you know, it was like an extension, not like a whole console, you know? Which I think that's one thing that the Switch 2 did better than the Wii U, like as like, you know, follow-up console in terms of, you know, it's just like, you know, marketing as like, you know, a successor, you know, like a PlayStation 2, like, you know, like an Xbox One or something, you know? Just like instead of whatever, like, you know, however like the Wii U market itself as. But yeah, I digress on that. You know, anyway, like even if the Wii U underperformed and stuff, and you know, only did like 14, 13 million copies, you know, like, oh man, that's not a lot of consoles and stuff. I think everything from the Wii U, like everything was made for the customer, you know, like everything was made with like, you know, the intention of just like the customer having a great time, you know, just because like, you know, everything on the Wii U from, you know, what I remember was so fun. It was like, you know, insanely fun. Which that's not to say that like, you know, any of the Switch games or anything are just not fun, but you know, it's like, you know, it was just fun, and the Joy-Con, you know, the controllers didn't drift, like, you know, everything worked, you know. I don't remember being younger and being like, damn, you know, like, damn, this game, like, I wish my, you know, controllers weren't drifting, you know, man, this game is, like, reasonably priced, like, you know, I feel like, you know, even with, like, you know, like a freaking launch title, like Nintendo Land, I still have like fond memories of it, and I still have like, you know, hours of like, you know, playtime from it, you know, like I had a genuinely great time with it. But with the Switch, you know, it's like the Switch is like I'm having some hours of like, you know, playtime, but you know, some of it is just like, you know, I don't want to count Mario Kart because Mario Kart is just so, it's so repetitive, you know, like right now I'm just holding items and just like staying in first place, you know, besides like, you know, the times I've had to lock in earlier, but you know, it's just like the same stages, you know, same stages. It's just you're slightly slower, you're slightly faster, you know, but yeah, you know, it's like I you know, it's not even like a nostalgia thing. I don't even think it's a necessarily a nostalgia thing for me. But I miss like Iwata, you know, I miss the Iwata like era of Nintendo. Cause like, oh my god, just like, it was so much better back then, you know, like, I think the only like, you know, weird thing that happened during like, you know, Iwata's time was just like, when like, you know, people using like Nintendo music in videos was a new thing, was like a new concept. And like, you know, they were gonna do like a little system where you had to like, I don't remember, it's been that long. Like, you had to freaking pay Nintendo slight royalty just to use their music, and it's like, you know, like nowadays it's like freaking, you know, they don't do that anymore. But you know, that was like the only interesting like slash slight disturbance thing, you know. But I miss the Iwata era of Nintendo, and I wish like, you know, I wish the Joy-Cons did drift.